John Wick jacket out of Kevlar. Like, what?
Like, he got access to some machines at his co-op, and he was like, hey, I want to make a pair of Wolverine claws.
Winter Soldier arm, Kevlar, titanium, and then put some carbide inserts in the hands to like shatter glass.
The original lightsaber, the proto saber, a bunch of that was hand machined by me, and then a bunch of that was also CNC machined by Ben. He had to go and get a titanium plate installed in his hand, and
see, that would have been a collaboration. We could have made it for you, machined it.
Yeah. Good call. What do you guys have total? How many employees?
25.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So a little bit of a smaller team than you, but
still,
that's all. Yeah.
For again, the content that you guys are doing and everything, I would think that, you've got to have a pretty decent sized team regardless of the editing side of things. There is, what we do and what you guys do, making stuff, got to have a good.
And a lot of what we do, a lot of our guys are not in the filmmaking part. They're in the education making part,
Right.
Building websites,
Yep.
building CNC expert, all that good stuff.
All that good fun stuff.
And a lot of paving the way for the future, like we're investing in what's coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what are we trying to build here, which is not easy,
Yeah. I mean, a big part of our team, I think we have 6 people now on our retail team.
Awesome.
So they're doing our merch, they're doing our tool line, our mini sabers, and getting all the logistics figured out for that. And that's been just a huge learning opportunity and a big area for us to grow into. And
when you talk about merch and retail, I mean, the lightsaber, the mini lightsaber set you off, right?
Yep.
I mean, that thing just is insane.
Yep.
And I love how you did that. You did it with pre-orders.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, let's just set up pre-orders. We know this is coming, and that gave you your funds to just let things kind of take off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And part of those funds went to the development of the actual lightsaber.
Yeah.
So we built an entire clean room, ISO grade 5. So getting rid of every dust particle, every little chip. A fingerprint is enough to make that lightsaber into an explosive.
That's what you said, an eyelash. That's crazy.
It's scary.
It is scary.
It took a long time to get it. Now the clean room's all up and running right now. So that's the last part of the lightsaber we're currently figuring out. But hopefully in a few months, that'll be fully operational. And
that's insane. I mean, do you think that you can get there with? I mean, you can, of course, without the tank. But is it close?
It's close. So we have the fuel system and the regenerative heat system and the flow controller all done and all tested. That's all working great. So it's about that long. It's about 6.5 to 7 inches in length at the moment, and 1.95 inches in diameter. And then we're adding another 3.5 inches to the end of that for the liquid oxygen system.
Insane.
And so that's the last part of it. And if everything works out, then that will be hopefully the world's first fully self-contained lightsaber.
Unreal. And when you say 3.5 inch for the back side of that, does that mean it can't last as long? The flame won't last? What's the average, time that this guy's going to be when he flicks it on? It's going to be.
Yeah. So the flame and the output power is exactly the same as our previous lightsabers.
Oh, okay.
So about 14 kilowatts of output power, oxygen rich. So that doesn't include, when you're cutting through steel, like an oxy fuel cutting torch, that's an additional, the steel itself is burning. So that doesn't include that. But the runtime has been decreased. It's about a minute and a half. Minute 15 seconds roughly.
It's fantastic.
So plenty of time to get a nice big hole straight through a piece of material.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. I think it's amazing when you just look at engineers and look at what people are creating, and you think about these pictures you saw in the 1950s, and they're literally bringing it to life now. So you look at a lightsaber and it being used for decades and decades, but none actually existed. And then guys like you are just now figuring out how to actually make real ones. And then it looks exactly how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
And it's actually cutting through steel, cutting through everything.
Dude.
And crazy.
And realistically, we wouldn't have spent the time on it if it wasn't going to look like it does in the movies and if it wasn't going to cut like it can.
Yeah.
Super cool. So you guys just have the best job in the history of the world, because everything that people watch and all this entertainment, you're like, hey, that's all fake, but we're going to actually bring it to life.
I love
We're going to make it real.
I love it.
Yeah.
Super good.
And the whole goal of that is kind of very similar to your philosophy of like inspiring people and showing them that like with the right tools, with the right knowledge, with the right passion, a lot of the stuff that we're like, oh, that's impossible, right? Or like, oh, that's impractical, or that's just science fiction, like brushing it off. If you put your mind to it and you actually do the research, you find the right people, you get the right equipment, a lot of that stuff is possible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we want to like open up people's minds and like have them think outside the box and be like, okay, how can that be done? And inspire them into science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and
so good. STEM is amazing, and like you guys have like 14.5 million subscribers on YouTube. I mean, you guys have been at it for a long time, and people look at numbers and stuff, but there's like individuals that might be like at their job just hating life and watching your channel, and then they see that you're on a CNC machine, or you're welding, or you're engineering, you're on SolidWorks, you're doing these different things and stuff. I love how you guys put it out there, like, oh, you can actually make anything, you can do this, and then you're inspiring people to actually say,
100%.
I want to make something. Like, I love these things. Like, I can actually just make that, I can make this out of titanium if I want. I saw you guys were like, oh, it's a bottle, but and we sell it on our store, but you can actually put explosives in it. Super good.
We use our double wall insulated vacuum water bottles for transporting the liquid oxygen for the lightsaber.
Insane. And it's so great. That's so great. So go ahead.
Oh, I just was gonna say, like, in our conference room, all the glass, like you can look through it and you flick a switch and it like goes opaque. And I'm always like, oh, James Bond, you know what I mean? And then you guys are actually making everything James Bond, and that John Wick jacket out of Kevlar, like, what?
Kevlar is crazy.
And then you guys are shooting it and stuff, like, that's nuts, man.
Yeah, I love it. Tell us a little bit, just your background. Like, I mean, right? We all got into this and it grabbed us, right? We talk about it all the time, the passion we have for machining and manufacturing. But where'd you guys come from? How'd you get into this gig?
Yeah, so from when I was born, I've been around cars. There's a picture of me at like 2 weeks old in my grandfather's 57 Chevy Bel Air.
Nice.
That's
There's
awesome.
a picture of me. I wasn't actually welding, but I was fully kitted up for welding. I was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
My grandfather was restoring a 58 Corvette.
Nice.
So I've been around cars. I've been around technology. I started using used SolidWorks for the first time when I was 3 years old.
Yeah. What?
Yeah,
SolidWorks at 3.
That's awesome.
That's a good little plug right there. Hello. It's even as easy as a 3-year-old can use it.
Yeah. And then I just started making things, playing with Lego. I got into First Lego League. It's a Lego robotics program for kids in middle school.
Yeah.
Then got into First Robotics, which is for kids in high school. Just building a robot in 6 weeks to compete in a set of challenges.
Jeez.
And then with the skills I developed from those, I just reached out to the Hacksmith, to James, and said, hey, can I come work for you? And I ended up volunteering there for a year and just continued to grow my passion, working with technologies I had never imagined before, working with electronics that were outside anything I could. Yeah. But it was really cool to just work with it and improve my skills and get deeper into it, and then turned into a part-time job, turned into a university co-op, and then turned into a full-time job.
Bingo.
Yeah, super good.
That is so great.
Yeah, very similar with me. Like, my dad was an electrician, and at 3 years old, he had his toolbox and stuff like that, and I'd always try to sneak in, grab like a screwdriver and go around and like unscrew doorknobs, take facial plates off of wall outlet covers.
You guys are...
And just like take apart anything. There's a TV remote, that's it. The TV remote is in dozens of parts.
That's so great.
And at one point, my mother got fed up with that. And she was like, you know what? I'm sending him to a robotics club. Like, go do that stuff over there. And
Stop taking my remotes apart.
Exactly. And so that turned into me doing also First Lego League and doing like Lego robotics, learning how to program, learning how to solder. And then I ended up mentoring a similar team and creating my own curriculum for teaching programming and teaching engineering clubs. So like Arduino and that kind of stuff. And then reached out to James when I met him at a convention. And I said, hey, like, I've got a bunch of electrical and software skills, and I know you guys are both mechanical, and I can come by and help anytime you need. I want to learn. I want to get more into this. And
Fantastic.
Went from being part-time to so volunteering to part-time, then graduate of college, and now I'm there full-time.
That's
awesome.
That's pretty great stuff too. And you guys didn't know each other before.
No,
not at all.
Yeah, amazing. Kind of similar paths, but it's funny. You say you both volunteered to start, right, to get in. That's what it takes sometimes. Like, give up your free
so I
time.
don't have to pay all my guys?
Yeah. Come on, jump in. But it is true. You want to you want it so bad, and to be a part of it. Hey, then you know what? Give up your time a little bit to show that you're willing to do that. I love it.
And you get through the door, and then it changes your life, because now you guys are like set. You know, you can pay to go to another college, you can pay to do all these different things, but you get with James and volunteer your time, and all of a sudden a year later you got all this knowledge, man, and nobody can ever take that away from you.
Absolute
super good. So you guys keep talking about James, and maybe talk a little bit about him. He's the creator of the channel, and then when did the channel start?
So James Hobson, he's the Hacksmith, he's the owner of the company, part owner. He started YouTube back in 2006, when YouTube was a platform.
Hello.
And he started with, it was backflip tutorials. That was his first big video, parkour videos, just general experiments with VFX.
Awesome.
Him playing around. Continued to do that throughout college. Started working in industry. He worked for a couple automation companies, a projector company, and then just started doing fun projects on the weekend. At the time, he was a writer for Hackaday.
Yeah.
Covered a bunch of things, some of his projects. And then at one point, he kind of saw that YouTube it was starting to make some money. Yeah. This was around 2013 timeframe. And he took out all the savings, left his job, and worked. He had a limited time frame, knew he'd run out of money at this point, had to make it before then, and he made it. And that was around the time that we joined. I guess it was a little bit later we joined. And it started making money and started running with it. Hired more people, grew the team, and that was 2013, and 2024, 11 years now, here we are, team of 25 people in a 16,000 square foot facility in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, awesome. Buddy. Yeah, buddy.
And you said you have like 16 acres or something?
Yeah, it's about 18 acres
18 acres, and you guys just blow stuff up.
Yeah. We can get away with a lot.
Well, that's and you guys came, so a fun night for us on Monday night, right? We had, you guys were part of some influencers that came in, and you're in Dallas for SolidWorks World. Yep. But we got together, and what you said kind of just hit me right there. So Monday night, we had a bunch of people here. It was a great night at the shop. And, what you just said about James, it's kind of similar to what we heard a number of people say that night as we went around and introduced ourselves. People are willing to give up what they're doing to go chase their dream. And that's one of the things you can do in this industry, because it's so rewarding. Take maybe your projects or your ideas that you have from concept to reality. You can do that in this industry. And it sounds like that was a big theme for what we heard on Monday night.
Yeah, and even for him, like, he was just doing this because it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, he got access to some machines at his co-op, and he was like, hey, I want to make a pair of Wolverine claws.
Yeah.
Just like for fun. He's like, you know what, I'll film it. I'll get some photos of it, show it to employers in the future. And he did it. He posted a video on it for his friends, shared it with a couple of his friends. And, as YouTube's advertising platform started growing, he's like, hey, this is making some money.
Yeah.
He's like, I spent like 8 hours a week on this thing. If I was to spend 40 hours a week, I could start, paying for my housing, paying for my food. And, now's the time. The platform's growing. Like, if I don't do it now, I might not get the chance. And he just went all in.
That's so great.
And it paid off.
That's so great.
But
that's
he was working like 100 hours a week. Like, he was putting his all into it, like at the shop from the morning till the night, no weekends.
And having fun doing it, right? So it's not necessarily a job. This is what he's doing. He's like, if I'm getting paid for doing this and it's 100 hours a week, that's like you and I, like if I played golf 100 hours a week.
now it's like a picture window. He gets to see the golf course, and I'm like, you used to do that.
That wouldn't be a job.
But no, you actually work.
No, I love it.
If I can get on like a more serious note, I was watching some of you guys' videos, and then I came on a video, and it was about James. And one thing, like, I can identify with him a lot, because I look at business, and business is hard, man. You know what I mean? If it was easy, everyone would do it. And it's easy to say, oh, you're making money, but it's not easy to make money. It's not easy to create a product that people are going to actually pay for, to have a long-term vision and have consistency in it, to have employees, to be able to like keep lifting those employees up and take care of their families in a way that they're not going to actually leave, And then and then to get on the treadmill of YouTube. YouTube is everybody's vision and dream, but at the end of the day, once you're on it, if you start lapsing, if you start going backwards, if you start losing followers or losing viewers, everything that you've built up can come tumbling down, and there's a lot of stress. And I actually just really, something that I've done, and I joke around. I'm like, if you put me losing, there's like a video like I lost a $200 million contract, and it blew up because I'm just like, yeah, if you put me in agony, everybody wants to like watch it, you know what I mean, and stuff. But it's like, I've shared like, hey, I went to prison, I ruined my life. I hurt people, man. Like I did all these different things and stuff. But at the same time, I'll talk about like how I rebuilt it, how I changed my ways, how I did these things and overcame it, and I just share everything openly, like how to quote work and how to get in with SpaceX and how to actually make incredible parts, how to be more efficient. But a lot of it is the mental game behind it and stuff. So, and I think that when I go out, a lot of people say, "Oh man, Titan, the kids, they love you, Titan." Like when you go to IMTS or EMA, one of these big shows, you'll see these like 50, 60, 70-year-old shop owners that have been in the grind for so long. And those are the guys that'll wait 3 hours, 4 hours in line to talk because you speak a language that actually touched them in a way that nobody else can understand. Like I understand what it is to be chained to a desk for payroll, So I'm just like kind of like saying because like I saw James and some of the other guys came out, just talking about mental health and about things that happened through this long journey, 2006 to, 2024, 2007, right? To 2024. But you're sharing life with people. You're doing life with people. And I just love that you guys have like just opened up to talk about real stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys are makers, but you're also sharing your lives with people,
Yeah,
So.
That's what we do.
And that's a major part, even within the scope of an individual project. It's so really important to show the ups and downs, to show that we tried things and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And we fought through it. We analyzed it. We troubleshooted. We figured out how to solve these problems that we ran into.
Yeah. Good.
Even
100%.
within the scope of life and within the scope of an individual project. You're going to run into things that are going to try to get you down, and you just got to fight through it. You got to find a way around it.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, because it does. Everything ebbs and flows, and you know what? If you keep looking backwards, you can't move forward, right? Once what's done is done, keep looking to push forward.
And life is levels. I always say that. I say that to my, I'm like, there's levels to this game.
Yeah.
And if you've never been on that level, you have no comprehension of the level. But once you solve the problem and somebody else is having the same problem, you can actually go over there and help them be the solution, because you actually went through it, you learned it, you overcame it, and now you have value and stuff. So it's like things that I went through before, I would never make those stupid mistakes again, and you do different things. Right behind you, it says Tower of Terror, and there's like literally a piece of material that's like probably
the thing's a monster.
Maximizing what this machine can handle on that table right there. And it's set up brilliantly, but then I walked over and we looked at it and I was like, you just have a few bolts and this thing is 2,000 pounds. So I'm like, how about we not do that and we actually let's actually take the time and actually order these things from Shunk and actually do it correctly, and it's still going to be sketchy, but you have a better chance of success. And I'm like, just look at the camera and tell him the truth. So in the video, he's like, you ever have that time where you actually fixture it and you're ready and you're like, we're going to start machining, and then you look at it and inside,
this might not work.
I'm about to do something really stupid. I'm like, I'm going to take, for the first time, I'm going to actually go backwards and I'm going to actually undo this setup and set it up correctly and do it the right way. And
that's good
and
stuff.
Then he does it, you know what I mean? So
yeah, how do you guys collab on stuff like that, right? You got all these ideas, and that's what we do all day, right? We come up with ideas, and then, you pitch them. And how do you guys come up with your ideas with your team?
I mean, I think it's pretty different from our business versus yours, because for us, a lot of that is through, like video games, movies, that kind of stuff. So we do like company trips. We'll go out and we'll watch a movie, and then we'll sit down and do a debrief, and we'll be like, that was cool. Can we do that? or someone else would be like, oh, I have a technology in mind that, you know, kind of resembles what was shown on camera.
Heck yeah.
So, you know, coming up with our ideas is a little easier because, you know, the hard part is often just like the imagination and coming up with something unique and creative.
Sure.
And a lot of the movies, a lot of the science fiction we see does that. And then we go into the engineering process of like, how do we bring that to life, and what kind of technology is available, or what kind of technology can we apply to make it real?
Yeah. What a good concept, too.
Dude, you guys actually, that last one that came out, and he has the jacket and he keeps like, the bullets are coming and he's like, boom, boom. And like they can't shoot him because he's got this jacket on and it's just fake. And then you guys actually made a real Kevlar jacket. So you guys did you watch the movie? Did you know it was coming out? Did you, like, where did you start in the process to create a jacket that could stop bullets?
So it's a bullets-proof jacket has kind of been a thing that's been around. I'm fairly sure they showed it in earlier John Wick movies. And we heard John Wick 4 was kind of in production. We knew it was coming out. So we're like, this seems doable. Let's do it. So we started it. It turned out taking way more time than we anticipated. We worked on that one for about a year and a half.
Holy smokes.
It was like 1.5 people working on it.
Wow.
And then we got lucky.
Different revisions, making it better and better.
Testing them different material layouts, working with companies like Honeywell to really try to figure out what we need for this. Wow. Working with new experimental stuff like shear thickening fluid, stuff that is literally on the cutting edge of research.
Wow.
And then we got lucky, and the John Wick movie got pushed.
Yeah.
And it got pushed again. And it got pushed again. And we continued working on the project because we knew we wanted to get it done, and we knew we wanted to have that video ready to go. And then kind of the release date settled down, and we said, we have this great video at this point. We kind of finished it up, shot the intros, outros, got the video ready to go. And then the movie studio that was producing John Wick, was it Sony Pictures?
I'm not sure who it was.
I don't know. We're not in the
deal side of things. That sounds right.
They reached out to us and said, hey, could you do something to help promote the movie?
This was 3 weeks before the movie was coming out.
You're kidding.
They're like, hey, like, do you know, this is a short timeline, but like, do you think you could do something in 3 weeks to promote the movie?
Let's get a hold of these guys. Yeah.
And we had this perfect project already completed, already shot. That was some really good timing.
That is amazing timing.
That's crazy.
It ended up being sponsored by John Wick for the release of the movie, and released at the same time, same date. Yeah. And that worked out really well for, I think, both us and the sponsoring company.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, because
awesome.
You guys said earlier, like, where did you hit 1 million subscribers or followers?
Back in around 2017.
So 17, and then you went from, in 17, here we are 7 years later, and you're at 14 and a half. I mean, that had to have been a major jump for you guys with this jacket and the release and the people that saw it and your subscriber base.
Yeah. It was a lot of views. That video got something like 10 million views by the end of the first weekend, just because it was in everybody's mind.
Yes.
People go watch the John Wick movie, they get home and they Google John Wick, and what shows up? Our video.
Guys. Yes.
And they get more, and that would be such a fulfilling feeling after seeing that movie and being like, oh yeah, it's not real. It can't make a bulletproof suit. It doesn't exist. And then it exists and it's real.
and here you guys are.
I wouldn't volunteer to get shot wearing it because it would still hurt.
Right.
The bullet wouldn't end up inside you.
Isn't that crazy?
That's the theory.
Yeah.
They said I saw it, like, and then you can feel it, like it came through, but it didn't go cut through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're ever up in our area, come up to our showroom.
And
it's on display.
You
can see.
He's like, we'll shoot you if you come.
And so we worked on making our own stack up of material to try to get the best flexibility in the suit, and get it as thin as possible, and optimize based on where your body parts are, how much layers do you need to protect you, and make it relatively safe.
It was something like 5 layers, something like that.
It was 14.
It was
14 layers.
I think it's 14.
Different parts were different layers. So the arms and the legs were just like abrasion resistant Kevlar, like what you'd find in motorcycle jeans.
Sure.
But the jacket and the vest were. It might even be like 16. There was a lot of layers.
Yeah.
And they were all, and the order matters and the thickness matters and
how you do the stitches so that they can shear against each other so they're flexible.
Yeah.
And I think we got that down really well. The suit it's thick, but it's
you can
fairly
move
comfortable and it's flexible.
Yeah.
One thing that most people don't think about, and we didn't even think about it when we were developing it until we were shooting the testing, is Kevlar is a really good insulator.
Heck yeah.
Thermally.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable. You can run around in it. It's not super heavy. It's bulletproof. but you get sweaty.
Sweaty?
You get really, really gross, and it's like wearing like multiple layers of winter jackets on top of you.
Oh man,
that's awesome. After all of it, what was it, about 4 or 5 pounds, something like that? The jacket.
I don't know the final weight.
Yeah,
it was.
I remember something like that.
It was not. It was not obscene.
Yeah,
it was something that James actually wore it to the premiere of John Wick.
What a
John
stud!
Wick 4.
Yeah, he does a great job, man. His just enthusiasm and how he runs the videos. I mean, that guy is a stud. Love it.
He has a good look too. For
he does.
That suit.
Yep.
Meaning like how John Wick looks. You know?
Well, he puts a lot into it, and like if you look at some of his videos, he'll dress up as like Tony Stark, and he'll do his haircut. He'll do his mustache, and you'll be like, that's a different person.
Yeah.
And then for John Wick, he got a full haircut, got his hair dyed, and like really plays the character.
Yeah.
I saw another one where you guys were doing like some kind of a sleeve, and you were putting like titanium strips in it and stuff. What was that?
That was the the Winter Soldier arm.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah.
It was a wetsuit that we layered. That was just Kevlar, right?
That was just Kevlar.
Kevlar, titanium, and then put some carbide inserts in the hands to like shatter glass and cut things. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
We never actually got to test that because just weeks before, I think it was like the same week we were planning on doing the testing for that footage, James broke his hand. And that was probably one of our worst injuries on
timing wise
and like it wasn't even
one of the
from
worst
our
injuries within
like
our
the company.
with the work that we do.
Got you.
And it wasn't from our project. It was from a different video where we were filming a baseball cannon.
Yes.
And we're trying to, beat the world's fastball record. And so James and Ian went to a professional MLB pitcher to see what it would be like to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, man.
And turns out neither of them have ever played baseball before. And trying to hit a 90-mile-an-hour baseball without ever having held a bat in your hand before was not a great idea.
What? Yeah.
And so
that thing moves.
Yeah, the pitcher threw a little bit inside, and they weren't familiar with,
moving
trajectory
off the plane.
of a ball or trying to move off the plane. So he tried to swing for it, and it hit him right in the pinky.
Ouch.
Right in the 5th metacarpal, just shattered his bone. And so he had to go and get a titanium plate installed in his hand, and he couldn't film the.
See, that would have been a collaboration. We could have made it for you. Machined it. Yeah.
Good call. Good call. Did you guys
Swiss
go
machines right there?
That's it. Did you guys go to like the Blue Jays or somebody? I mean, you got a full MLB pitcher to throw him a fastball?
I don't know who the pitcher was, but it was actually just a local, like a whatever. I don't know sports terms very well.
Yeah. That's all right. No.
There's a local like baseball pitching
maybe
AAA
A guy. Yeah.
And I think he might have been either retired or a side player.
Yeah.
But I mean, he threw those balls fast.
Oh, absolutely.
We were not. I think what did we get up to with our pitching machine? Like 82.
Yeah.
84. So we couldn't beat his
match
pitch,
him.
But
That's funny.
That is
when
funny.
we had the TV show before, right, and then we switched to social media, but. We were filming and one wheel came out. So the one wheel?
Yep.
And I got one of the first one wheels and they gave it to me to put on the show. So I'm like going up and down, like yelling at my guys, like, just messing around and stuff. And then we were doing something at night. We were filming and somebody was like, you can actually ride the one wheel. I said, I grew up in Hawaii, man. I grew up surfing and skateboarding. And I'm like, I'm a big dude, but I still got so I was a little overconfident. And I remember like, it's like nighttime and I'm like jamming on this thing, and it goes like 13, 14 miles an hour. And I'm like going in the front and it's dark. And all of a sudden, like I hit a rock and I'm literally like Iron Man flying through the sky. And thinking like, you are so stupid. And I never would have thought it like, but I have this whole conversation while I'm in the air and I know I'm about to face plant and grind my face into the asphalt. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about like the cameras and how I'm going to like ruin like now, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just
both
saying
me
what
and Ben
James,
own one wheels.
Yeah.
We have our own. We have a dozen at the shop, and both of us have had pretty bad wipeouts on them.
Yeah.
But we also just absolutely love them.
They're no joke. Yeah.
We go off-roading. We go on mountain biking trails on them.
Yeah. But all of a sudden, like I never thought, and I'm like, I'll ruin the whole TV show. Because like I'm just gonna like scrape my whole face up, you know what I mean? I never thought like it'd actually matter,
right,
you know what I mean? I'm a
right.
machinist and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I just came down, I put my elbows down, and I just took all the skin off, and then just Had long sleeves.
Damn. Yeah, at least you had that
I was
going.
like, save the face. But you guys have one wheel. Yeah, they're awesome.
You should tell them what you just did with the one wheel.
Like literally last week we did a 1-day build. So these are, one wheels. If you haven't heard of them, I mean, our viewers, they're basically self-balancing skateboards. A little electric motor.
And they've gotten a lot better now.
They have. And we did a 1-day build where I put a gas engine on it. And so I made a gas-powered one wheel. It's a little tiny 2-stroke engine, about 3 horsepower.
Nice.
With a brushless motor on top as a generator.
Of course you did.
So it acts, so it recharges the battery, and you fill it up with some gasoline, and you can ride this thing. I don't know what the range on it is going to be, but probably over 800 miles is my guess.
Wow, that is crazy.
And it's really cool because the engine itself doesn't drive the wheel directly, but it uses the battery voltage to adjust the engine RPM and maintain battery. So as you're accelerating, it'll actually ramp the engine up to charge the batteries, and then as you're slowing down, it'll ramp the engine down. So it actually sounds like you're,
look at you.
It's fully gas powered and just this big engine right between your legs. It's really sketchy.
And I think the one wheel, if I'm not mistaken, it comes out of Sacramento because we have a good friends at Dan Nethercutt up at Quality Metal Fab did a ton of redesign with these guys on the one wheel up in Auburn, California, your old stomping grounds, our old stomping grounds. That thing is fantastic though. And look at, you took it to another level.
Yeah.
They sent us 10 of their GTS motors.
Oh man.
And the plan is to turn those into a 4-wheel drive or a couple 4-wheel drives and a 2-wheel drive electric go-kart.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
One
That's
of the things we might try to do is get it to actually pop a wheelie and hold a wheelie, just like fully balanced.
Put a helmet on when you do that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the Cybertruck, the mini Cybertruck, and I saw when James was putting it into the real, no, he was putting a mini, what was it, a mini like quad Cybertruck into the mini Cybertruck. It looked like he was going back.
Yep.
And then the next film you show him, he's leaning forward, getting into that thing. Did he tilt it and go the other way? No.
I don't think so, but close.
That was close.
Sure.
Yeah. That was a cool project, that little mini Cyber. That was super cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
You even took a bow and put it in the window, and it didn't get through there, right?
Yeah.
Did the
So
same thing.
it was polycarbonate. It was the first one we did was 1/4 inch. Then we went a little thinner just so we have better clarity on the windows. But it's bulletproof plastic. So
crazy.
In our initial video, we threw a metal ball at it. We swung at it with a big sledgehammer, and it's 3mm stainless, so it's actually thicker than the real one.
Insane.
Just got to see that a couple of days ago over at the convention.
We walked outside 3D Experience World. We were just heading back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And right there was a Cybertruck. And we had never seen one before.
Right.
Because there's not one in our area.
Super clean, right?
Yeah. It was really cool to, after working on our half-scale one for years and being around that, to see a real one.
Right.
It felt remarkably familiar.
Isn't that crazy?
So
and so you guys went all stainless, same thing.
Yep.
Body's all stainless, and it's how thick did you go?
3 millimeters.
3
so
millimeters.
1/8 of an inch.
Wow. Hello.
And theirs is 2 and 1.6 millimeters for different body panels. So it's
Elon, watch out.
I did a video talking about how they actually created the stainless and just a genius in it, because it's the same stainless they're using for the Starship. And people look at the Starship and they're like, oh, he's making a few Starships, and he's like, no, I'm going to make 1,000 Starships, and like it's going to revolutionize flight, and we're going to fly people to other countries, drop down, we're going to fly to other, to the moon and Mars, and people are like, what? And it's like, but to make it inexpensive, because it is a crazy material, it's like, oh, let's just make a truck out of it also, and then
why not?
Yeah, the more you get of it,
pay for it.
the more the price comes down, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
It's genius, man.
Exactly.
Stainless. So that was the first time I'd ever welded stainless. I have never welded stainless until we did the Cybertruck, and by the end of it, because we welded that whole body together, it was all plasma cut and then welded by hand, every seam, every joint, and by the end of it, I was so good at welding stainless. Now I can just do any material, any thickness, any geometry, but that was a lot of good practice, and you can see that in the video.
Again?
The one side is just an absolute nightmare. It's all warped and burned through. The other side is beautiful welds.
So solid.
That's awesome.
Again, the genius of our industry, right? You jump in, you learn something, you become proficient at it because you repeat it over and over again. You're like, I got this now.
Yeah.
Now you're a spec welder on this.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I like watching the video on the spider.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at that picture and you just see this thing, it is out of like a movie, and then the day you guys did it with the fog and all that, like it looks so sick.
So sick.
But then seeing that you know, it went from having the buckets to the feet and then the one leg brakes, and you guys just, as you said, talk about the problems, and like it was actually phenomenal, man. You guys did a great job on that. What a big project too.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking you. I was like, so do you guys, and you guys were talking about Honeywell, you know, but it's like you put so much time into some of these things that you develop. I was like, do you guys work with the military? Are you guys creating products? Are you like, but then when you are a YouTube channel, you can only do so much on one thing and spend so much time on one thing without the funding and stuff. So it's like you almost have to like take it to a point and then be willing to just discard it and move to the next and move to the next and move to the next. So
I think that was both mine and Ben's like favorite video, because it was very different video structure to our typical videos, right, where we just like talk about the engineering, build it, test it, cool. Whereas for this one, we went back and forth for an entire year of like the engineering and the video side. There were supposed to be 3 videos initially, and then we're like, oh, we'll do a build video and a test video, and then we're like, no, we want to do the best we can. We scrapped everything. We basically went back to step 0 and we're like, we'll keep the B-roll, we'll keep the build footage, but we really want to tell the story.
Yeah.
Right? We really want this to show like the ups and downs of it. And I think I was talking to Nal Red, and he's like, and we were like, how do we script this? How do we tell the story? How do we like, because we had different editors working on this throughout. It was a year and a half long project almost. Yeah. So we're like, how do we consolidate all of this footage? We had different people working on it. And his suggestion was like, write a blog post. Make a blog post talking about like everything that happened, you know, from the start to the beginning, put your emotion into it, talk about the engineering, and then cut out the stuff that's boring, that's not interesting, and then just read that out.
Yep.
And then after you've done that, have a video editor question you on it.
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
That's how we did it. And like, you know, I spent 20, 30 minutes just going through the blog post, talking that as if it was a script.
Heck yeah.
And then the editors were like, well, what happened here? Why did you do it this way? What did you miss here? And I think that was it worked out well, because that's what the viewer's thinking at the same time.
Heck yes.
Right? He's sitting there and going, oh, like, why didn't they try that? Why did they do it this way? And having a video editor who's, you know, not very like specifically technical, able to ask those questions and interrupt me throughout that blog post.
That's super cool.
Really helped put that story together and show the emotion of like the ups and downs of, you know, oh, everything's working. This is crazy. We just spent, 6 months of our time, and then something breaks.
But not really. Yeah.
And now we're like right back down into like, all right, the nitty gritty of like the engineering and like, how do we fix this? How do we troubleshoot? And really show the engineering process.
Yeah.
Right? Because part of that inspiration is we want to show that whole process of like, as an engineer, what are you doing is problem solving.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
You're trying to figure out, you're doing troubleshooting, you're trying to figure out how do we do this as efficiently as possible, but also how do we overcome the challenges and the difficulties.
Yeah, man.
Right? And encouraging people to be like, try it, fail, see what happens, learn something from it, and then apply that right back into it.
Great call.
And every one of our projects is just a huge new learning opportunity. It's something none of us have done before. So we're starting from ground zero and, learning new skills, learning new equipment every single time.
Well, no wonder you guys are so great. See, that's what you do. We break tools, we break things, and you learn to, when you get to a certain level, you got to lean off a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's it. Then just understand, don't do that again.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The leg breaks, and then you guys fix the leg. Then the same leg breaks again, but in a different way. And you're like, so good. So like what?
Oh,
so that was your guys' favorite right there, and that was big.
That was number one.
Big.
It was 21 by 25 feet when it was standing, and it could go up to about 11 feet tall if you had it standing all the way up.
That is nuts.
Awesome. And then the lightsaber. Is that when you guys got into more of the CNC machining part of it? I saw, I think it was you on running the machine, making the parts and stuff?
So the original lightsaber, the proto saber, a bunch of that was hand machined by me, and then a bunch of that was also CNC machined by Ben.
Okay.
Way to go, Ben.
And that was a beautiful project. I spent weeks trying to think of like, how do I do it? And then I came across this picture of like a steampunk lightsaber, and I've never seen steampunk lightsabers before, but it just clicked because like in the actual design it's all pneumatics, right? So you've got plumbing, you've got brass regulators, brass components, you've got like copper plumbing and tubing as part of the actual like functionality of it. And it's like, why hide all that?
Yeah.
Let's actually make that part of the design. Show the gauges, show the regulators, show all the plumbing, have that exposed on the outside. That not only simplifies and makes it easier to maintain, but also just creates a really unique design aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep that night. I came into work at like 4 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep. I was just playing that design back in my head, revising all the parts. And I spent probably 20 hours in my computer that same day, just like
Holy
the entire
smokes.
day. And I put that whole design together. And then literally Monday came around. This was on a weekend too. This was like a Sunday night or something.
You just driven.
And
You're like, I gotta get this on.
And I came back and I showed this to Ben, and he's like, "Oh, how are you gonna make me machine all this, aren't you?"
You're like,
so good. That is so good.
That's so good, man.
Yeah, buddy.
No, I love that you guys bring so many different ways of manufacturing. Like, you have to touch everything, when it comes to fabrication and machining and all of it to, and now you got it on your shirt.
Oh yeah, you got the whole lightsaber design on the
Yeah.
shirt.
Super,
And I'm
super good.
doing a new one right now, which has also been like a huge new learning opportunity. It's one of the most like detail oriented, and there's so many like little things that just all have to work out perfectly.
Heck yeah.
And just doing that troubleshooting and doing that learning is just so different from building a giant mech.
No doubt. No doubt.
Is that like your first, beyond shirts and stuff, is that your first product that you guys actually sell?
The mini saber?
Yeah.
That was the first one that we developed from the ground up
Wow.
to be ours. We've done some white label products, and we've had white label products and modified them. And we worked with a local company called Retractabit. They
Okay.
they have the patents for a bunch of retractable screwdrivers, got like 6 bits. So it's really cool to work with someone local.
Heck yeah.
They do all the injection molding
Nice.
about 10 miles up the road from us.
Excellent.
So we rebranded those, but the Mini Saber was really the first one that we developed from the ground up, had the molds made, had all of the equipment made.
Took about
for-
2 years to go from a product that was just white labeled to our own custom design, custom fuel tank. We have our own molds and everything for it as well.
So great. Good for you guys. And was there Star Wars fans, or was this just like, oh, one day let's do a lightsaber, or were you guys full on Star Wars guys?
So the lightsabers started back in 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was with a big piece of titanium. It was titanium at the time.
The first one was tungsten. The
was
first,
tungsten,
very
okay.
first design was just a rod of tungsten, and we
Was
put
it?
like 4,000 amps of current through it. Got it like almost white hot, and only then
Holy
realized, we
smokes.
spent a bunch of money on batteries and controllers and tungsten, and realized, oh yeah, tungsten oxidizes.
Hello.
Like you expose it to air, and it becomes crumply and falls apart. It makes a bunch of really like nasty gases. And then we went back and we revised, and we created a blade that was a tungsten center core.
Okay.
So it'd get super hot but very rigid.
Yeah.
And then a titanium outer core. So that one can also get super hot. It wouldn't be rigid at that point, but the tungsten blade in the middle would keep it solid.
Gotcha.
But then the titanium doesn't oxidize.
Yeah.
So we made this like 2-layered blade. So it'd go up, the electricity would go up the tungsten and then back down the titanium. So you could have a solid red hot, orange hot blade at like 2,500, 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
And then that would be able to melt through a bunch of different metals, and you could actually fight them. You can clash them against each other. We did a whole fight scene, which was really sketchy, but a lot of fun.
I saw. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. You got to be careful with those things, right? That thing's
We can
joke.
literally kill each other.
Yeah, right. This is Darth Vader and
you
Luke.
could feel the heat both off of that one and off of that one. The first one was actually, the electric one was about 25 kilowatts of like radiant energy. So that's the same thing as sitting in front of like 15 room heaters, just all pointed at you, and you can feel the heat. It's like you're sitting in front of a sauna heater, just like straight blasting into your face.
That plus the Kevlar jacket, you're like, hey, I'll lose 10 pounds in about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was like, I showed my wife and my daughter that video last night, and my wife's like, you take the lightsaber, and it's like going through this wall, and she's like, that's not a real wall. And then James was like, that's not a real wall. Now let's go to steel wall. Steel door.
Nutty.
Yep.
So
Nutty.
good, man.
And we don't try to hide stuff like that. We're transparent with the audience. When something
Yeah.
isn't real, we're going to admit it. We're going to show it.
You have to.
And people love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
And they pick up on it too. They know, so like you said, be transparent. Don't hide anything. You're going to get called out on it anyway.
Yep.
And it helps the video because you're telling the story, and then people want to stick around to the end to see like it really do its thing. And that by now they know that you're not gonna like come up empty. You wouldn't put it out if it wasn't gonna be amazing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
And we do show projects that didn't work. Like Megahex, at the end of the day, like it worked well. We got probably about 9 minutes of runtime out of it, where like it was walking beautifully. Did all the steps. We had full control over it. But it was not the most reliable. It wasn't the safest. There's a lot of like when the legs would break, like it was not comfortable to ride that thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
but,
boom.
But we also showed that, and like knowing when, like, you know, what was our goal with that? Our goal was inspiration. Our goal was making a really entertaining and exciting video, and our goal was learning from it.
Heck yeah.
And knowing when to be like, we've met those goals, right? Sure, you know, it's not the most reliable machine. We can't just like, you know, bring it out to a convention and walk it around.
Right.
But we had that learning opportunity. We showed our problem solving. We got it to work long enough to get the footage we wanted.
Right.
And it's also, you know, that sunk cost fallacy, knowing when to like step back and be like, I've done everything I can. I've learned everything I can. And we're going to call it a success.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, that project was a success.
Yeah,
the video did
very
extremely
cool.
well. We learned a ton of stuff from it, and we got it to where we wanted to. When even at the beginning, both me and Ben were like, we have no clue this is possible at all. Like, there's been other like spiders that are similar, but they've also had their own issues and their own challenges.
Sure.
And we're like, especially with you know, using excavators as the entire base, we're like, there's so much that's different between an excavator and a giant walking spider. We're like, we have no clue if it's going to work, but one way or another, it's going to be an entertaining video.
Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit, right? You came to Dallas with this project.
The new you mean the power loader?
Yeah, from yesterday at the show.
Yeah. That was our first mech before the walking
I saw a video
spider.
you picking up
So we
a car
finished
with
that.
it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
I
we
saw
finished that
too.
like
That's
2 or
true.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was the first time that I did hydraulics.
Oh, God.
I have never done any kind of hydraulic systems before. I went through college, you know, I did their hydraulics courses, and that really humbled me because in college, I did 2 hydraulics courses. I did regular hydraulics and electro hydraulics, and graduated both those courses with like a perfect, both in the theory and in the class. And I was like, I know what I'm doing.
Nice.
You know, I'm great at hydraulics. And then I started doing the power loader system, like, and, you know, figuring out what kind of pumps, what kind of hoses, what kind of fittings, trying to figure out all the different valves. And that really humbled me because I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing.
Gnarly.
I got into the, you know, this real project from the ground up, and, you know, was very confident. And then, you know, it was a huge, just like, you know, the Dunning-Kruger curve, being like, I'm at the top of that Dunning-Kruger curve right now, and there's so much more for me to learn.
Never in this industry will you know it all. There's not. It's too much.
They let me get in, and I need one of those pictures. Somebody took.
I'm telling you,
pictures.
that thing was impressive, though.
Yeah, it was super.
I forgot about the car. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
super good, man.
Our power loader is, actually, we haven't measured how tall it is. It's 11, 12 feet.
It's about 11 feet, yeah.
It's a monster. Yeah, it's a monster.
It's an 11-foot, 13 degree of freedom, big hydraulic mech replicated from the power loader from Aliens, the Caterpillar P5000 in that movie. And it's the Caterpillar Hacksmith power loader. I don't know what we call it. But
the Aliens power loader, but
that's bad.
We just call it the Aliens power loader internally, but of course it's the Aliens power loader because it's from Aliens.
Exactly.
But it has about 7,000 pounds of lifting capacity, 3,500 per arm.
Amazing.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It's larger than life. When we got it outside and got the arms kind of up, because when it's sitting inside, the arms are kind of tucked in and it looks a little small. And you get it outside and the arms are up and big.
That thing's
it has
massive.
Some presence.
It has a presence for sure.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, super good.
So if you guys had everyone from your team here, what would the consensus be on the number one project that everybody said, oh my God, this is home run?
I don't know if there would be a consensus.
Would it be? Yeah, would it be?
I think the lightsaber is
probably,
by all of our metrics, probably the best. Just like by views, by excitement.
Technology.
We've done, I don't know, 7 or 8 revisions of it now.
Man.
So like every editor has gotten to work on a lightsaber project at some point throughout their career.
Amazing.
Every engineer has helped out with either the electrical, the machining, the you know, the pneumatics, a bunch of the plumbing. So we've had a lot of the team as part of that development because there are just so many tiny little details to make it work properly.
How many have you sold now?
The mini saber or the lightsabers?
Mini saber.
I think we were about 17 or 18,000.
Wow.
Christmas.
And they can buy it.
Yeah, that feels
Is it hacksmith.com or how do they go to the store?
Hacksmith.store.
Store. Yeah.
And
that's insane.
And we can't keep them in stock.
I bet.
Like as soon as they come in, they sell out in like 48 hours. And
Unbelievable.
our team is just constantly panicking, being like, how do we pack and ship this many orders? Because we do everything locally.
Right.
Like we have our own
That's great,
distribution
man.
center
That's
at our
great.
facility. And Yeah, it's that's been a huge learning curve as well, because just like, you know, going from selling a couple of t-shirts and a couple of, you know, screwdrivers to just now like literally shipping containers, like multiple shipping containers of these things showing up at our door and being like, we have nowhere to put it. We don't have the personnel to pack it.
Insane.
Like, we have an entire shipping container of just like bubble wrap. and we're just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like just the scale of like where you can get to.
What an amazing deal.
So somebody can create a company just to solve your problem.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
We're
it.
just going to rent that space
work
over
with
there and give
Hacksmith.
it all to us, and we'll just take care of it for you.
Yeah.
We got you covered.
Yeah.
17,000.
Thanks for coming over, man.
No doubt. Yeah,
So,
what a great trip.
I think we're going to turn on the multi-Swiss and let you hit some buttons. And
Get after it.
you know, one thing that I'm proud of is like, you know, working with Elon and Bezos and these big guys and stuff. I'm super confident in the shop because, you know,
Oh, hell
there's
yeah.
a famous T-shirt that says even engineers need heroes. You know what I mean? 'Cause- but with the CNCs, man, it's like you can invent everything, and that's how you bring it to life, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
doubt.
we'll
you guys are
we'll have some
studs.
fun, man.
Absolute.
Super
Absolute.
good.
No,
And
so
then-
good having you.
I look forward to seeing you get into the 5-axis, and we have an academy. You can learn
Yeah.
from it.
Get after it.
Super good.
Yeah, man.
That's a huge
Awesome.
learning opportunity, because we've only ever worked on 3-axis CNC machines, so
Yeah,
done
which is
4-axis.
awesome.
you've done a little
Levels.
I've done
4-axis.
4-axis.
Huh?
I've done 4-axis.
There you
Yeah.
go. Absolutely.
Was it
Which
4 or was it
is
3?
awesome.
There was 3.5, no?
No, I've done 4.
Okay.
Your lightsaber
Okay.
parts.
Full 4.
What one?
Oh, yeah.
That one needed 4.
Yeah. This was
A
the
lot
big
of
one
them
needed
there.
4-axis.
That was a
There was
4-axis.
there was a lot of
Yeah,
parts.
a lot
that-
of them you can
Ben's
opt
like,
it
don't-
out in a third, you know, in 3-axis, but 4 just makes it easy.
Way
Yeah.
simple.
And 5 makes it even easier.
Yeah.
And then 11, and then 35. You know, so
Ben's like, don't
good.
diminish my skills. That was 4-axis.
super good. But anyway,
you guys are
thank
great.
you guys for coming over.
So
Yeah,
happy to
thank
have
really
you guys.
appreciate you guys,
Heck
man.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
Heck yeah.
fun.
Awesome.
Thanks
Be
for
good.
having us.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Boom.
Yeah.